And we're off. Made some upgrades to the kayak while I was out. Finally got the fish finder installed, and it's working. But this is the first day out with it, so hopefully it'll legitimately be working, and will make us better fishermen, because that's exactly what they do. Didn't see that drop. So guys, this is the first day with the new fish finder. So far so good. We got it working. Yep. Well guys, I'm in a spot where I can kind of talk and actually have some better light on the fish finder. But as you guys can see, it's working. Vibe did a really good job of making their Seaghost pretty compatible with mounting the fish finder. I only had to go ahead and drill that one hole there. Other than that, there's the transducer scupper up front, and it's super nice. It took me a while to figure out how to mount the transducer, just because the standard mount that Garmin gave me, it was a little bit different than some of the videos I had seen. I think it's just because this is an updated unit, but overall, really happy. We're running a Naqua 12 volt, and clips right through there, and that's where the pilot hole that I drilled to power the unit goes in to into the hatch here. And there, all buttons up, and you have a pretty good system here. Now obviously you can choose to mount stuff on this rail or this rail. I chose to mount it in the front. I didn't know how I would like it, and part of it is I didn't know if I could reach the unit, but this is perfect. Right, easy to lean forward, manipulate what I need to, go back to the menu, choose what I want. If I only want the traditional sonar, I can go to that. If I want to go to the ClearVu, here's the ClearVu. All right, ClearVu is awesome. I'm really glad that I spent the extra money just to go ahead and get that unit. I don't know if side scan would work on this, but if you do have a Seaghost and you run side scan, definitely leave a little comment below and help everyone out. But thus far, you know, I've just been playing around with it all day, just a little bit, and really kind of this is the view that I've been keeping. So I still need to get used to it and the other functions that are on here before I can give really an honest opinion of the unit. But overall, zero complaints. Really, you know, simple setup. You know, there's different ways obviously to work around powering the unit and also putting power on your boat, but in a simple term, just run the battery in here, drill the little eyelet up front, and this eyelet came with the Garmin unit, and boom, you're good to go. It literally is it. I didn't want to overcomplicate putting the fish finder on the boat, just because it's already hard enough to pack up everything and get to the water. Whatever I can, the way that I think about things in general, right, is simplification and also utility. So the easier I can make it on myself, the better it is for me. Having the power unit up front and the battery in the front hatch, and having all the LED crazy lights and a subwoofer in the back, and spinners on the side of the kayak. There's some awesome rigs that are out there. But if you're a simpleton like me and you want to keep it simple and you don't want to overcomplicate things, I can't recommend this enough. It's worked out well. Time will tell if I still really enjoy this or if I still have any complications, but first impression, we have power. That's good. We're beeping, so that's good. It's picking up fish. It's not made me a better fisherman. It's not made me a better fisherman, I can tell you that. I haven't caught a fish today. If you're just relying on the technology at the end of the day, I can't even, it's too bright. You know, it might help you catch a few extra fish, but it might also to be a detriment, because it's not going to make you a better fisherman. So anyways, off the soapbox with that, let's get back to fishing. Okay, so we made it back off the water, and before leaving you guys, I do want to walk you guys through the build. Now again, I went for function over sexiness, I guess. I mean, even though I think this is really clean the way that it turned out, you don't need to go and make it overcomplicated to put a fish finder on your boat, particularly, right, the Seaghost. This is a Seaghost 130 by Vibe Kayaks. Awesome boat. I'm really happy with it. There's a lot of boats out there that have some really sweet things on them. This right now is not one of them, but I will say this is probably one of the simpler solutions that you'll be able to find out there to install a fish finder. So without further ado, let me just walk you guys through it. And then if you guys have any comments, just leave them down below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Okay, so here's your standard Seaghost 130, okay? I kind of prepped this on the front end just to show you what it will look like before actually attaching the fish finder. But the first place you got to start when doing your fish finder build, at least on this boat, is on the bottom. There's a transducer mount. Here's the transducer scupper, right? And it's right underneath, so let's flip this bad boy. So here you go. So from the back of the boat, just quickly, you have this little skid plate here, all your scupper plugs, and then you get this thing, which is your transducer mount. I went with a Garmin Striker 4 CV. There's a couple different Striker 4 models. It's their smaller entry-level model, really great model, particularly for this boat, just because the transducer fits perfectly in here. And it comes with everything you need to mount it. The screws that do come with the Garmin are not the right size for the actual Vibe Kayak transducer mount. So I needed to go to the hardware store, and I picked up, God, I believe, let me see if I have them really quick, hold on. I found it, had to dig through the trash. But it is going to be an N5.8 by 14 millimeter Phillips pan head, okay? This is exactly what you guys are gonna need. Sorry, it's a little torn. But that's what's gonna fit right here in the threads. That's what worked for me. I tried for a while to get the Garmin screws to fit, and of course I was like, I don't understand why this isn't working. I went back to the store, picked those out. That's exactly what you're gonna need. So I'll leave it with a link down in the description below. You're gonna wanna pick up a set of these screws right here to go ahead and make sure you have a proper secure fitting for the transducer down here. So one of the things that you do get typically with these fish finders is a lot of transducer line and cordage. You don't want to cut that at all. Essentially all that you need to do is mount the transducer with the bracket, okay, to the area that you have to over here. And then what you do is you just literally just wrap the cord, and I just use 2 zip ties, one on the top, one on the bottom, just to keep the loop secure underneath the transducer, so that way the transducer itself, there's nothing impeding it coming down. Okay, so that's the bottom. Okay, what I did do over here, let's flip this guy back. Okay, is as you can see through here, I just left, and sorry, I had to loop this around, but you want to leave an ample amount of line to come out of this scupper. I probably brought out about 3 feet just in case, because I didn't know necessarily where I wanted to mount it on the boat. You can mount the fish finder here, you could drill into here, you can mount it here. I mean, there's a lot of different places, so I didn't want to limit myself because I hadn't decided that yet. And you can always just feed more of this line down and it stays secure. Okay, so not a big deal. So definitely give yourself enough line out here from the zip, once you zip tie it, to be able to you know, put the fish finder exactly where you want it. The only holes that I had to drill is just for these waterproof cord eyelets, I guess you could call them. The one that comes with the Garmin Striker itself, you need something it's more than a 1/2 inch bit, okay? I just ended up using a 1/2 inch because it's the biggest that I had available. Once I got the hole to the size that it needed to be, I kind of routed out the rest so that way it had a snug, tight fit. So you could probably go with 1 bit size bigger than the 1/2 inch, and then literally just take 1/8 inch drill bits and do the pilot holes. And then I just took some marine adhesive, put it on the bottom, screwed these in, so that way there's no holes here in the boat, there's nothing up front, there's no Velcro or things that are gonna be moving around. Okay, let's open up the hatch, okay? So I'll open it this way. So essentially, here's the cordage. Now I need to figure out what to do with this, but ultimately I'd like it to be find a way to attach it to the top, or I'll just put it in a box. But you're not going to get water in this. There's a good gasket on this, on these Vibe consoles, so I'm not terribly worried. But essentially, in your kit with the fish finder and then whatever battery source you go with, I went with the Noctua 12 volt, and I did it just because it's meant for kayaking. I mean, you could go with any type of 12 volt battery. Just put it in some watertight container, you'll be fine. This is supposed to be much more durable and can brave the elements. But essentially, you follow the instructions to do the wiring. Just need a set of crimps. You have your tubing, a lighter, and you're pretty much done. I mean, it's super easy. The Striker fork includes like these 2 blue and brown lines, which are for additional features. So you don't even need to use those, but ultimately I'll clean this up and put some tape around them. But again, just held together with a zip tie, right? And let's go ahead, let's close this guy up and make sure all of this stuff sits okay. All of that stuff will be contained in here. This is locked up front. So now I got my power cord here that comes out, that's gonna go into the fish finder. I have my transducer cord here that's gonna go into the fish finder. In the front, right here, is what I was mentioning. This is the Noctua adventure gear. So I'll leave a link down in the description for this as well. Super compact, it fits perfect in here. Cool thing about these batteries is it's rubber lined. So, there's just additional protection here. What I would say, when you're looking at your build, you can go with a cheaper battery, but I wanted to put my money towards this because this is ultimately the thing that's gonna give me the juice during the day. So there we go. Battery's connected. That line's coming in through here. We got a good seal. Boom. Close the hatch. Okay, now I got this live, okay? What I did is I picked up a mount from Yak Attack. I've seen some other guys do this as well, where they've taken out the bungees here and just used, Garmin has a mount that you can actually just drill into here. That's totally fine too if you wanted to keep it fixed. I went with the Yak Attack mount just because it's modular. So there's 2 different ways that you can angle this rig. You can have it straight up, you can angle it back, forth, whatever you want. But the nice thing is that you can keep these connectors on the rails when you're transporting them and not have to worry about keeping all of this gear on. I put this in, and let me walk around so I can show you the mechanism really quick. Literally just lock it in, and that thing's not moving anywhere. It's perfect. When I'm ready to get off the water, I need to transport it, just open it up, pull it off, it's good to go. So anyways, if you're interested in that, I'll have a link for that also down in the description below. Here's the actual Garmin Striker 4 CV. This is so easy to access right here, just in the position that it's in. If I had it over here, I could mount it over here as well. I mean, easy access. Any further back would be a little bit difficult. So again, right, simplicity. You only have to drill 1 hole through the latch here. It's not even into the boat. These are easily replaceable. You can find them online. Just me, right? I'd recommend going this route if this is your first fish finder. That way you're not regretting any decisions that you make. So anyways, power goes in here. Now let's get the transducer all plugged in. So actually, let me unplug the power really quick, but because it's a similar thing as the transducer, I forgot to mention, leave an extra bit of line here for the power, right? Because I didn't know where I was gonna mount it. I have enough to mount it over here on this rail. I have enough to mount it over here on this rail. Plenty to mount it right here if I wanted to move it back farther, right? Give yourself options, okay? So what I've done here so far, for this day, is I just wrap this cordage around, and it creates, it just makes it tight. So, super shaky, I know guys, sorry. Here we go, plugged in. So now the line's out of the way, I don't need to worry about it, and this is tucked in the back, right? I didn't have any problems today with my line or anything getting stuck in here. I did have line get stuck underneath here at one point in time when I was just trying to retie, but it was super easy to come out. So anyways, this worked. So let's go ahead, let's power this guy on. Now that we have everything contained in here, we got the transducer on. Battery charge, that's key. There we go. Fish finder works, and it works great today. Now, as I mentioned, I still need to learn a lot more about it. I mean, this is the first fish finder that I've ever owned, so I don't necessarily know what the optimized settings are, but I will say for a small package like the Garmin Striker 4, the CV, to be honest, is the way to go. I'm glad I did that. You can go cheaper and get this, just the sonar, and that'll work fine, but the ClearView chirp technology on this is pretty cool. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick little walkthrough. Again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll leave links down in the description below for anything that I did discuss. And yeah, good luck on your build. And remember, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. This is only gonna do you so much, but keep learning about the fish, where to go, what to do, when to do it, and this will be a good tool to help you out.